to the 2010 Hyundai Sun Bowl Head Coaches Press Conference. My name is Ayman Ayub. I'm president of the 2010 Hyundai Sun Bowl. It is now my pleasure to introduce our executive director, Mr. Bernie Olivas.
Thank you very much. I'm here to introduce our Legend of the Sun Bowl for 2010. Apparently he has affinity for snow, because the last time he was here, game ended in with his field covered with 3 inches of snow, and if you listen to the weather forecast, he's made his way back to El Paso, and there's a little snow flurries in the forecast. Major Harris was one of college football's most exciting players to watch in the late 1980s. A 3-year starter at quarterback, he became the first in NCAA history to rush for more than 2,000 yards and pass for more than 5,000 yards in a career. And he arrived in West Virginia when the Mountaineers were coming off consecutive bowl-less seasons. He battled with Browning Nagel to be the next great West Virginia quarterback and won. But as he went through growing pains during his redshirt freshman season, he showed signs of what was to come. As the season went on, he got stronger and more mature and led West Virginia to the 1987 John Hancock Sun Bowl. Later on, we're going to show a video of his accomplishments during the Sun Bowl and cover some more of his accomplishments in his career. But right now, I'd like to introduce the 2010 Legend of the Sun Bowl, Mr. Major Harris. Major?
I just want to really say thank you. It's always, it feels good when, you can get recognized for any type of accomplishment. Wasn't expecting it. So when they called me, it really kind of shocked me. Because, being that when you're young, you never realize or think about when you get older and retire, and then you might be honored at that time, like going in the Hall of Fame or any type of Hall of Fame. So it was shocking and surprising, but at the same time, it makes you feel good about yourself, to be honest. Because, I look at it as like the icing on the cake as far as what you did earlier in life. So with that, if you want to ask me any questions, I'll try to answer it. But just thank you.
It is now my pleasure to introduce the chairman of our football committee, Mr. John Fulmer.
Thank you, Eamon. Before we introduce the coaches, or before I introduce the coaches, for you guests that are here, what we'll do is we'll introduce one coach, he'll have a few comments, and I'll introduce the next coach, and he'll have a few comments, and then they'll break off into individual, because I know some of you guys want to get them individually and so forth, but I think that's the best way to do it, and the best way to handle it. You guys, are pros, you know how to do it, but that's the policy we do, and keep in mind, we can't keep it forever because we go inside for the luncheon. But it is a pleasure to have Major as our honoree this year, and he did an outstanding job when he was here. It was a great football game, and if you believe what Bernie says about the snow, I got some swampland in New Orleans that I want to say. It's not going to snow. Never snows in El Paso, the Sun Bowl, other than when Major was here. But I've known our first coach today for a number of years. I became familiar with him when he was in the Big East, and didn't really have the time to spend with him that I spent with him this week. And there's a reason he's successful, and there's a reason that he's got a following like he has. He's been a tremendous guy for us. He's a tremendous friend of us in El Paso. He's a very sincere guy. He's a good guy, and he's at the right place for his coaching career. And it's with great pleasure that I introduce you guys to Coach Kelly, Brian Kelly.
Thank you. First of all, Major, congratulations. Great to meet you. I remember watching you as well many, many years ago, Major. It's also nice that he's very humble. Today, he's kept it very short, so we'll try to accommodate that same schedule. On behalf of the University of Notre Dame, we are excited to have been part of this bowl week here in El Paso. Just a great venue. John, Bernie, Amen. The whole Sun Bowl committee and organization has treated the University of Notre Dame just so well. Our athletic director, Jack Swarbrick, is here as well. I'd like to recognize him. He's been part of allowing us to really enjoy this opportunity here in El Paso. So it's been a great week. Plenty of things to do. I know Coach Stoutland probably feels the same way that I do. We're excited about now getting within 24 hours of playing a game, because it does get hectic. There are so many things going on during the week. The Sun Bowl puts you in a great atmosphere, but we are now getting to that point where we're thinking about football. We're thinking about the competition. We're thinking about Miami against Notre Dame and putting on a classic. You go through the convention center and you see all the signs of many games. That Utah-Mexico game must have been a heck of a game. So hopefully we'll be able to put on a similar show. But again, it has been, for us at the University of Notre Dame, a great experience here in El Paso. With that, I'll open it up to any questions. Is that the procedure?
Ryan, how are you guys right now? Are they chopping at the bit to finally play?
I think so. They needed some time off. I think sleeping in a little bit, because it gets, there's a lot going on, and a lot of competitions during the week. We've been keeping score, the talent show, bowling, a lot of things going on. So they're anxious to get out there and play the game.
Coach,
Yes.
with Miami's defense as good as it's been in Notre Dame, as much as it's progressed in the last three games, what kind of game do you anticipate? Could it be a low-scoring field goal type of game?
It's interesting because there's such a long layoff, before you play that next game, that in some instances, this game becomes an opener again. Certainly a lot of the players are familiar with what you're doing, but there are those feelings as a coach that there's some unexpected things that are probably going to be realized in the game. So clearly we know what we need to do, and the tenets of winning football games don't change that much. In other words, you can't turn it over. You've got to be able to find a way to run the football and defend it. So for us, it's probably going to be, try to do the things that we have been doing in the last month of November.
Coach, in the same sense, an opener, but to put a cap on this season and the momentum that you have for recruiting for next year?
I think there's no one singular game that defines your season. Certainly this one gives you momentum in the off season. It obviously, you don't have to taste that loss, for 6 months or more. So that's the important part of it. But I don't know that it has long-range implications relative to the national recruiting scope. But this is still about developing your football team and winning games.